Right, some news just into us. It's news that we've been expecting, and Strasbourg have confirmed that Gary O'Neill, the former Bournemouth and Wolves head coach, is now the head coach of Strasbourg, and he replaces, of course, Liam Rosenior. Let's get the inside track on him, all right, from a man who appointed him at Hull. But before we get to that man who appointed him at Hull, let's get Dara's take on his appointment at Chelsea. Were you surprised to see Rosenior get this big job?
No, not at all. Everyone who knows this guy, he's on the up. He's a very, very progressive thinking young coach. Style of football, handles the media well. He's almost the perfect package. He's got a little bit of arrogance. Nothing wrong with that either. I think it's a really good move. I'm not against it. I know everyone's going, well, does he deserve a chance at Chelsea, finishing 7th at Strasbourg and everything else? I think he might surprise people. He'll go one of two ways, and I said it to you over there. He'll either be a brilliant manager in the Premier League, win trophies, do really well, or he'll end up as one of your top pundits on Sky. That's how well he handles himself, but he's a phenomenal young coach. Well,
he was a very good pundit for us on Sky before he got involved at Derby. Let's speak now to the man who knows Liam Rosenior very well, the former Hull Vice-Chairman and CEO, Tan Kesler. Tan, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Now, you played a big part in Rosenior being appointed Hull manager back in 2022. What did you see in him back then to make you appoint him?
Hey, Tom. Hi, Darren. It's good to see you as well. It's a pleasure to be here again. Oh, no, thanks for asking. It was a very quite interesting interview that we had with him. But we've seen him a young, ambitious, an energetic coach. And I was quite impressed by the fact how he carried himself, how he communicated. And his game plan and his philosophy was impressive. And I knew he needed support from the management to be able to apply his ideas, and he knew that it was going to be. We knew that it was going to be successful. So he was quite impressive, honestly. Like he's from the first point to all the way to the end. He came across very confident. Darren said he was, like he has this arrogance, but he's got like very quiet way of presenting it, so it doesn't bother, it doesn't rub off. You almost feel like, kind of connected to him. So he's very good. He's personality-wise, he's very good.
Yeah, Tan, just a question for you, my man. I hope you're well. Did you disagree with him moving on from Hull, the way it went about? I know it was all about a change of system, style, and I know that's difficult for you because of the owner of Hull and whatever else, but did you agree or disagree with that decision?
I reserve my answer on this one, but I think, Darren, you've been in that position. So Jun is a great friend. He's trying so hard to do something and win, get Hull to go to Premier League again. And I tried my best in that time period. To answer that, Liam was the right answer. He was the right coach. It was a very risky decision. He supported me. He backed me up on this one. So he should get full credit for hiring Liam. But in the meantime, I think had we were patient with him, it could have been the success that we were chasing. The Hull is chasing at still moment. So
how do you feel Liam managed up at Hull? How do you feel he managed? Because obviously it was his first big job, after coming out of Derby as a coach and part manager. How do you feel? Because the Hull owner is quite big personality. How do you feel a young manager like him handle that, managing upwards? Because that's always a key thing with big clubs.
He actually was ready for it, Darren. It was not really, we didn't have to support him that way, because this is very important that I mentioned it in past about him, and I'm privileged to mention it again. In our interview with him, he said to me he wants to be a Champions League coach. So as you can imagine, you are also in the same position, like hearing in Championship, trying to find a ticket to Premier League, and then having a young coach who had just, part his ways with Derby in an unfortunate, quick way. I found it very ambitious, and I found it very strong, But the way he explained it, I was on board immediately. And then from there on, I've supported all his coming on board, and I convinced Arjun that this could be the good idea, could be a greatest idea actually. In fact, at that time we were struggling in the Championship on the relegation zone. So it was the very risky position to take. But I really had the confidence with him after the conversation.
And he is now, of course, coaching in the Champions League as well, as of yesterday, now that he's at Chelsea. Darragh was there asking you about managing up. What about to the players? How is he going to get their respect?
No, he's a student of the game, you know, like he knows so much. And I think his key is when he came to Hull with us, and he and I, we recruited side by side, and his staff is amazing, you know, Justin and Ben. They're very to the point and intense, and they win your trust based on improving you, meaning player. So the players wouldn't have too much of an argument with him, because they will see the progression, they will see the improvement. And this was the key for him. When he came in, he improved Liam Delap immediately. At the time, we had Jaden Philogene. So he found a way to communicate with Jaden on the pitch to get the best out of him. And you know, like he and I, we convinced Fabio Carvalho to come and join us. And Jacob Greaves, even, you know, he's one of those aggressive ones, the leadership groups. He fully bought into it. So I think he has that skill. He has that personality for players to trust him. Trust is important, you know. He's a very trustworthy guy. He's a family man, and then he doesn't think of anything else but football. So I believe that he has a personality. I know there's big personalities in Chelsea locker room, and the organization, the club is huge. But I can see that, you know, if given the chance and support, he will win the locker room very quickly.
Yeah. And how much power did he have in transfers at Hull, and how did he convince you to kind of go for the players like Fabio Carvalho, etc., and Jaden Philogene?
No, actually, I had to convince him in the ownership, so it worked differently. But the way we worked, the way I structured it was he had the final and the most strongest voice. The final word was obviously the owners, but Liam had the full power and authority to veto it, and at the same time, and he has the most powerful voice to say, look, it's not for us, or it's for ours. You know, it would be amazing in our philosophy the way we play. So he always had input, strong input, and he should. You know, I think the way I believe, and in my current club also, the coaches should have the saying finals, in not final, but the strongest saying, because they're the ones that are going to be playing these players.